All right, let's talk about the English Regents exam. You're not taking it this year. You'll take it next year. So let's talk about the English 10 final exam. You know it's going to be a lot like the English Regents exam. The English 10 final is set up a lot like the state Regents exam, but it's something that I put together, and I think it's more 10th grade appropriate. So on the English 10 final, there will be a text analysis, which we did one earlier this year with Swamp Monsters Make Bad Housewives. We'll be doing another one of those soon, probably next week, maybe even sooner, but we'll definitely get to it by next week. Also on the final is pieces of an argumentative essay. We did an argumentative essay earlier this year. The one does the internet impact human thinking. We'll be doing another one of those in fourth quarter. And for the final, you'll do pieces of an argumentative essay. We won't do the entire essay for the final, but there will be important pieces that you'll have to take care of. And also part of our final and part of the English Regents to state final is some reading comprehension passages and multiple choice reading comprehension questions. So here's how we've been working on getting you guys ready for the multiple choice reading comprehension questions. The reading journals. The reading journals that we did with St. Lucy's Home for Girls Raised by Wolves, the reading journals we did for Fahrenheit 451, the questions that I put together in those reading journals, the things I had you think about, the quotes I had you go find, are all based on some specific reading strategies. Now, I imagine it kind of sounds weird to like what? There's strategies for reading. You don't just look at the words. Well, you do, but there are some more specific things. I've never been much of a baseball player, but I'm going to use baseball as a metaphor anyway. All right, so when you're just a kid and you're learning how to play baseball, you're learning how to hit a baseball with a bat. You go through, whoever's teaching you takes you through each step. I'm not going to pretend I know all the steps, but from what I remember, there's a bend at the knees, keep your elbow up, keep your eye on the ball, those things, all right? If anyone ever tried to show you how to hit a baseball when you were younger, they went through all these steps. And when you were first learning how to do this sort of thing, you had to keep the steps in mind. Eventually, it becomes like muscle memory, and you do it automatically. You do it without having to think about it. It's the same way these reading strategies work. Inferring, connecting, predicting, determining what's important. I had you do these things in the reading journals, and the idea is your mind starts to get used to doing these things while you read. It almost becomes muscle memory, and you do become a better reader. What else I've done is I've looked at the multiple choice questions that are on the Regents, and I noticed that there are some like patterns. Okay. With how they word questions, what in terms of what they're looking for, what they're seeing if you understand. So I've made very similar questions to go along with some passages as well. So this is going to count towards fourth quarter, and yes, this will be graded. I have the utmost confidence you'll do fine on these as long as you take your time and you think thoroughly about them. So what we'll do today is I'll take you through the reading of the first short story that I'm going to give you some multiple choice questions on. I'm not going to give you the questions until tomorrow. I just want you to take a look at the story today. A couple notes on the story. There's some parts that are highlighted. For today, you don't have to worry about whether or not something is highlighted. The quiz, which you'll take tomorrow, will reference those highlighted sections. Don't worry about it today. For today, just read the story. Hey, maybe I should read the story. I like doing this kind of thing anyway. So the story is in Schoology. It's called Junk Life. So I'll read, you follow along, and you know how this goes. Junk Life by Chris Millam. The day labor spot is a decent place to bum a smoke or snatch a half cigarette off the ground, but it's not ideal for finding meaningful work. And when it's 5 in the morning and you walk 2 miles to get here, meaningful work isn't exactly your white whale. You'll take any damn gig. Sign in, wait, seethe, and hope your name gets called. The folks with rides get first dibs. They can haul other desperate men in their clown car at $6 a head. The smooth talkers' numbered white ball gets sucked up the tube next. They can play the game, spit some blue-collar self-promotion at the shot caller behind the plexiglass. Slick networking with a side of pandering, a greasy sleight of hand, but they get work consistently. I sit like an obedient sheepdog and rarely hear my name. 2 hours later, and the solid jobs are gone. The place is dead, except for us stragglers. The ones afraid to leave because you never know when the phone might ring and some abusive factory needs a couple of last-second grunts. Timothy Jones! I somersault to the counter. I want to kiss him. Tongue punch this savior in the raspberry dress shirt. It's only for 5 hours. You interested? For a fee that will be ripped from my check, the van drops me off at a gray and glass building that could use a blast from a power washer. A sweet-smelling man inside the joint hands me an outfit, gives me a few pointers. He looks at me like I'm a bowl of store-brand ramen. The intersection is swarming. I guess that's the point. The placard hanging from my neck lands square in the middle of my chest. Freedom isn't free. Get your taxes done today. Have your cash by the weekend. I'm not sure that makes a bit of sense, but I'm not being paid to think. After 3 hours, my body could sink the Titanic. The cold is savage, a kind of Arctic hatchet only homeless people can comprehend. The Statue of Liberty costume doesn't help. It's thin and cheap. Insulation clearly wasn't a thought during the manufacturing process. Cars blur past when the light is kind. When it's red, they stare. I can taste their disgust. I am disgusting. It says as much on my birth certificate. I'm a 40-year-old scrub draped in a lima bean green nylon frock holding a plastic torch. I try to send them mental signals. I know what I am. Look away. Run me over. Can I borrow some mittens and a toboggan? The guy swimming in cologne comes out and tells me to keep waving my hand. Don't ever stop waving. But it's hard to smoke when one hand is waving and the other is raising an artificial beacon. Yes, sir, no problem. The $30 I'll clear is a real motivator, boss man. Well, actually, that's true. I can hit the dollar menu later, get my drink on after that. Could be worse. Has been worse. The next morning is the same as every morning. Wake up, eat a Pop-Tart, leave Mom a can in the fridge, daydream about buying Isabel a bicycle someday, walk to the day labor place, fake it for another 24 hours, slap the truth away. It's standing room only. Fluorescent lights expose processed food diets, canyons of stress, decades of addiction, and a lack of daily moisturizing. Timothy Jones, Liberty Tax wants you back, asked for you specifically. I take the news like a seasoned chump. I'm your guy. I will always be your guy. All right, that's the end of the story. So take some time, look it over. Normally, I would give you the questions day of, but we're going to be doing these questions through eDoctrina, and I want to be here on the day that we do the questions through eDoctrina, just in case things get complicated. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the story. I imagine we probably have some extra time, and I know that a lot of you still owe some stuff. Hey, done with that Fahrenheit 451 test? I'm missing quite a few. All right, so we'll work with this story tomorrow. I have some multiple choice questions to go with this story tomorrow. We're going to be using eDoctrina for the questions for tomorrow. So be ready, I guess. All right, Mr. C's out of here.